Are you new to cruising and considering gambling in the casino to earn free or deeply discounted cruises like everybody seems to be talking about on the internet these days? I know for sure it is all over YouTube. Well, then this video might be for you because I want to talk about the 5 biggest mistakes that I see people make when they're trying to earn those free or deeply discounted cruises. And let's just start right with number one, and that would be gambling more than you can afford and are willing to lose in the casino and not keeping track of what you are gambling. Now, when I step on board, I make sure that I already have my budget in mind. And for me, it is a hard, fast rule. When I step on board, I usually try to have between $100 to $125 per day of the cruise. And then that is it. I usually bring it in cash if I can. And then that I don't allow myself to charge back to my room. I don't allow myself to charge on a credit card. I don't allow myself to go to an ATM and pull out more money. If I can't get the reward that I want for that money, then I just walk away. And that's all there is to it. I have had some pretty disappointing runs in the casino, but I have also had some spectacular wins. So just make sure that you're keeping track of what you're doing and that you are not ruining your cruise or your financial life by ending up at the end of the day with a several $1,000 bill that you can't pay. So make sure you have a budget, make sure you don't exceed it. And if you're charging back to your room, make sure you are checking your onboard account all of the time. Don't let it get away from you. Now, the second big mistake that I see people make is going on a cruise ship and not knowing that cruise line's casino program. Now, the cruise lines have varying degrees of availability of information that they share with you about their casino program. Some of the cruise ships give you everything, and that's Royal Caribbean and Celebrity. They not only tell you how many dollars per point it takes, they have a list with the point value and a list of what you're going to get for the point value. They also have a code on their flyer in the casino that allows you to see the sailings that are available for each point level. And then they also have a very public kind of tier plan or tier loyalty program for the casino that goes over what we call a program year, which is a 12-month period that you earn your points within to hit certain levels of the casino program. And then you also get perks for those. So just be mindful that you may go on Royal Caribbean, have all this information available at your fingertips, but you may go on Carnival and not have any of that available. Now, I have heard kind of mixed reviews on Carnival as to whether they display the number of points that you need to earn your instant cruise certificate, which means you gamble, you hit those points, and then at the end of the cruise, they give you a certificate for a cabin that you've earned. Now, the type of cabin is going to vary based on the points, which if you read up on the programs, then they'll tell you about it. But don't go looking for that on Virgin Voyages because they certainly don't have that available. They do tell you how many dollars per point it is. They do tell you about their annual loyalty program for the casino players, but they don't tell you how much you need to gamble in order to earn a free cruise or what you get for that. Princess has flyers everywhere and they have it on their website, but they don't tell you what sailings you're going to earn when you get to those points. You have to earn your certificate and then call them afterwards and ask them, well, what's available? What do I get to take? But I do have to say, with Princess, though, they do give you up to a 16-night sailing, which is pretty darn fantastic. So just make sure that you know the program of the casino that you're stepping into. So take a little bit of time and do some research in advance so you know what you're getting into. So the third item on the list would be gambling more than the cost of the free cruise that you are trying to earn or any other perk that you're trying to earn. Are you just trying to get into the gambling loyalty program, or are you actually trying to earn rewards on the current cruise that you're on? So just make sure that you're very mindful of how much money you're putting in the machine. You don't want to dump in $5,000 to earn points to get a cruise or another perk that's only worth a couple $1,000s, because that kind of defeats the purpose of getting free or deeply discounted cruises. So just make sure that you're actually setting your goal before you walk into that casino, and that you know the value of what you're trying to get out of it. And that'll keep you from overspending. So, number 4 on the list is going to be gambling to earn a free or deeply discounted cruises when you don't have the ability to take the cruise. Now, I know a lot of people get caught up in the hype, and it can be exciting when you're getting really close to those points that you're going to get that instant cruise certificate. It can be a fantastic feeling. Now, I actually earned my first instant cruise certificate on my very last cruise on the Enchanted Princess. I got 3,000 points and got a free interior cabin, but I already knew before I stepped on board that I did have the ability to take a cruise within the time frame that I knew would be allotted on the certificate I got. Now, I knew that because one, I knew my vacation schedule. I knew that there would be a port that I could get to without spending a ton of money. I'm just taking the train up, and it's going to cost me about $20. And I knew the expiration date of the certificate, and I knew when the furthest sailing date would be because I did my research in advance. So that really feeds right back into number 2, making sure that you know the casino comp program before you step on board. It's really, really important that you do your research if you're really trying to get as much value out of the program as you can. So again, just don't get caught up in the hype. If you can't take these free cruises, just go in the casino and gamble for fun, and don't worry about the points. Just accumulate what you can. Now, some of the cruise line casino programs do have like a minimum number of points that you can hit, and you can get in what's called kind of the after cruise marketing program. So maybe you go on board Royal Caribbean and you earn 400 points, but you don't take advantage of the free interior cabin that it's offered if you go and do what's called a next cruise booking. And then maybe 2 or 3 months later, you start getting flyers from the Royal Caribbean casino program that, hey, like you could take this free cruise for just port fees and taxes. And maybe it's good for another 6 months after you've gotten off on the ship. So I know Princess has that, Carnival does. I've heard that pretty much most of the cruise lines that have a casino program do offer something like that. So that is another avenue instead of trying to rely on just the instant cruise certificates that do expire fast. A lot of them give you usually only 30 days to book, and most of them you have to sail within 6 months. And the 5th item on the list is making sure that you're picking the right avenue for your points, whether it's table games, video poker, or slot machines. You need to know what points that you're going to earn when you're gambling on each of these different items, because if you look into the casino programs, they all pay points at different prices. Also, sitting down at a machine that is not paying you and repeatedly playing that machine for hours and not getting enough return to be earning points, that can be a real problem and can easily deplete your bankroll and not allow you to earn the points that you need to get the offers or comps that you're looking for. Now, my points that I have earned over time have varied wildly. It really depended on the ship that I was on and the machine that I was playing. Kind of my highest points that I paid for were $3.43, and that was aboard the Freedom of the Seas. That was kind of a disaster of a cruise. And I walked away paying $3.43 a point. Now, I know that the casino program says it costs you $5 to earn a point. However, when you're playing, you're going to reinvest your winnings. And this is what we call kind of coin in over time. So it cost me $3.43 coin in to earn my points on Royal Caribbean on the Freedom of the Seas, even though the flyer says $5, because the money that I was earning while I was playing, I was just recycling back through. Now, I have earned points for as low as a -4 cents, meaning that that cruise line put money in my pocket to take those points. I did that on Princess. It was pretty darn fabulous. Now, Virgin Voyages, my points ended up costing me 34 cents per point. But the problem there was I didn't have the bankroll to hit the minimum points that it required to get the free cruise. And I really didn't hit their minimum point threshold to get any after cruise marketing offers, because it is a very expensive casino program. Even though I very thoroughly enjoyed my time aboard Virgin Voyages, their casino program is quite expensive. Now, when I was on Icon of the Seas, I did pretty darn good. I ended up walking away with 410 points for $400 out of my pocket. So I got about 97 cents per points off of that cruise, which I think is actually pretty good considering that those points usually cost $5. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me here and learning about the 5 biggest mistakes that I see people make when they are trying to earn free or deeply discounted cruises on the cruise line. So make sure that you check out my live stream. I usually go live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then check out my other videos that teach you how to use some of the Casino Comps programs. So have a fabulous day, happy cruising, and I hope to see you out there on the high seas.